Holding a briefing on the double homicide. Let's listen in.
Overland Park Police Chief.
What can you tell us about this? What's the new information, the latest?
Well, last evening, about 9:50, we received a call of an armed disturbance in this neighborhood, and upon our arrival, we found two persons that had suffered gunshot wounds.
One was at the house with the other one up the street. What do you know right now about the scenario here? What happened?
Well, what we do know is that there was some sort of confrontation, and two individuals, one was deceased later, one was deceased here at the scene. We do believe that there is a connection between the suspects and the victims, so we want to assure everybody that this is not, as far as we can tell, not some random act of violence, that we do believe that there is some sort of connection.
Do you know what that connection is yet?
We do not.
Do you know if this is at all connected? Everyone's talking about this homicide yesterday in KCK. Can you speak to that at all?
You know, as far as we know, there's no connection to the homicide in KCK yesterday. You know, I realize people want to make that stretch sometimes and say, well, there was a shooting here and there was a shooting there, and all of a sudden they're related. But at this point, we have no indication that there's any connection to those two cases.
Somebody out here said they saw that girl over here about 2 days ago.
Oh, that I don't know.
Okay. All right, that's why, you know, we were asking about the connection there. The victims who were involved, are you ready to release those names yet?
Gary will be releasing those names sometime after lunch.
Okay. And do you, have they had any criminal past? Was there something nefarious going on?
That I don't know, but when Gary releases that information, I'm sure you all will be following up on those names.
These are just teenagers. It's a, you know, tragic thing to have happen in your city. Tell us about that part of it.
Well, nationwide, you know, violence among our youth is a tragedy. There's no question about it. But, you know, this is a very big city. It's a safe city. You know, we're a city of over 185,000 people. So given that scenario, we're not going to be crime-free. But like I say, this case, we believe there was a connection between the suspects and the victims. The case at the mall the other day, there was a connection. So I guess I just want to reassure everybody that these aren't random acts of violence. You know, there's usually a connection, which is really true with most aggravated assaults and shootings nationwide. There's some sort of connection. You know, there isn't that randomness that everybody thinks there is.
Chief, we have the one victim, and he was right up here in the street, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we've got the one down here. Do you think somebody was running and shooting at him? Do you think somebody drove by and shot at him?
You know, I don't want to speculate on that. All I know is that our detectives continue to do interviews and put together evidence. We have our crime scene personnel and Johnson County Sheriff's Department crime scene personnel, and they're piecing all of this together. So I certainly don't want to speculate on exactly what might have happened.
Do you have any suspects at this time?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you have any vehicle description you want to pass along or anything?
No, but if we do, certainly if we do not at this time, but if we do have information that we believe the public can help us with, we will certainly get that information out as soon as possible, as we do with most cases. And I do thank the public for their assistance. They help us solve a lot of cases when we put that information out.
Have you been questioning people, persons of interest in this thing, or just witnesses at this point?
At this point, we are questioning witnesses and people with knowledge, but as far as persons of interest, not to my knowledge.
There was a couple of people who had said that they saw several other guys, you know, running with the victim, saying, "Get up, get up, get up." Have they talked with you guys? Are they cooperating with you guys, people who were with the victim?
You know, I don't know. All I do know is that we're interviewing potential witnesses and witnesses that we know of.
Even though there's been, or there hasn't been that randomness that you speak of, is there somewhat of a concern that there's been 2 shootings in the past 3 days in Overland Park?
Well, there's always a concern that we need to address, and we would prefer that there be no crime whatsoever. But you know, I'd be foolish to say that that's going to happen. But so, am I concerned for the general public? No, absolutely not. This is a safe city. It's a safe place, and again, that connection between criminals and victims is something that we can't prevent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say that we didn't ask?
To the police chief of Overland Park, talking about the double homicide at 61st Terrace near Robinson. We're going to continue following that story throughout the day on the air, as well as on KSHB.com and our mobile app. We'll be right back.